everybody. My name is Zac Pennington. I am here today with the band TV Art. Hello, everybody.
What up?
Howdy.
Hey, Zach.
Hey.
Hello.
If you guys just want to go ahead and introduce yourselves, starting with Mr. Will Fortune, who I already named, so
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm Will. I am the singer and guitar player in TV Art. I'm a CMP major here at UC and CCM, which is like commercial music production. That's what I do. So
Yeah, my name is Patrick Bentley. I'm the bass player, and I'm here at UC too. I'm a fifth-year engineering student.
My name is Blake Panstengel. I'm a second-year secondary education major with a focus in social studies and a double minor in history and political science, and I play lead guitar.
And I'm Lucas Vanderpool. I play drums, and I'm a media production major. I'm a second year here at UC CCM.
Very cool, gentlemen. All right. Who is TV Art? What do you guys do? What's your sound like? What do you do?
Well, I came up with the name just one day in my room. So we I guess I'll explain the lore, and if you guys have anything you want to throw in. So I met this guy named Zeke, so I used to go to Columbus, Capital University up in Columbus, and we were skating this park there, and I met this dude who had just this long hair. I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" And then I didn't even know he was like my one of my friends from Capital, and a friend of a friend kind of thing. And then he started talking to me, and then we stayed in touch. And then when I moved down to Cincinnati, I texted him. I was like, "Yo, we should skate." And then we got to know each other and stuff. And then Zeke was like, "Yeah, I've always really wanted to have a house show for my birthday." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I've been kind of writing this music over the summer and getting into music production. And I was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah, let's set something up." And he was like, "Well, my one friend Patrick, he's not here right now because he's looking for a place to live, and he doesn't have a place to live right now. So he's just kind of but he lives in Cincinnati." I was like, "Okay, word, okay." So he's like, he can play guitar. He's down. He's always wanted to play a house show. And I was like, "Okay, cool." So, and then maybe it was that same day or day of I met Blake, and he just we just were just talking, and he was telling me about how he plays guitar
It was
and
at the skate park.
the courts,
the
yeah.
DIY.
And he was like, "Yeah, I play a little guitar. I played some solo sets, and I don't know what I didn't really know what to expect. I just kind of was like, that's cool, man, right on." And then then some time went by, and then every time I saw Zeke, he just would ask again and be like, "Hey man, you got that band?" And I'd be like, no." And then so I finally met Patrick one night, and I showed him some demos, and he was like, "Hey yo, this goes hard." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And we jammed for a little bit, and then I was like, "All right." Then I just slid in Blake's DMs basically, and was like, "Hey, I have this date for this show. Do you want to be in it?" And I kind of hoped that because I had a date and a show that he'd be more enticed to be in it, because I was like, I don't know, if I just met this dude literally one time, and he was, sure enough, he was like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "And my roommate Lucas also plays drums, and he'd probably be down." And I was like, "Awesome, well that's perfect." So basically since then, and then we all got together one day. I don't think, were you not there for that first practice?
No, Lucas wasn't.
Yeah. Lucas wasn't there.
I was too busy getting my hair cut.
And then then we all practiced, and I saw Blake shred, and I was like, "Okay, well, Patrick, how do you feel about learning bass?" and then Patrick was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to learn bass. This is great." And I was like, "Awesome." So that was then from there, it was kind of crazy. I always like to look back at the old voice memos. I think our first practice was early September. And then we did we practiced for maybe I don't know, 2-3 weeks. And then we were like, "Yo, this sounds kind of hip. We should do a private show." And before this big show that we had made with Zeke. And then we threw that, and it was a success, and people really liked it. And to answer who TV Art is, I mean, I think it's just it's just four guys who it was kind of funny because I really went into this with we all kind of came into this strangers, and then we just all became really, really, really good friends, and I love all these guys and everything, and for that is, I don't know, it's just a group where we make music, and it's just making tunes with the guys I love and stuff, and And I don't know, yeah, it's just out of that. And then like sound wise, I mean, I don't know. I've it's always funny like when you play shows, you always have these people who come up and they're like, man, you sound like this or you sound like this. Like I've heard like the amount of times I've heard we sound like Mac DeMarco, or like one time there was a guy who said we sound like the Clash, or like Mac
What,
he was like, you guys are like Mac DeMarco. It was at Xander.
Yeah,
And he was like, you
it's
guys sound like Mac
DeMarco
DeMarco
meets like
the Clash
Van Halen or
the Clash or something, or yeah. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like I think it's kind of like, obviously you can always have people like to compare like an artistry, but I think it's also like really important to have kind of like a unique sound. And I mean, like, yeah, you can always like kind of like put something into a genre, I suppose, but I mean, I don't know. What do you guys? I'd say it's, you know, it's like kind of indie surf rock for sure. I mean, there's a little bit. I think there's elements of a lot of different genres within our music. I mean, like Blake. I mean, like you can talk about some like your influences with like your lead guitar.
Oh, my influences.
Oh boy.
I just grew up in a very like 80s hair metal like household. Like my dad, like I always like in the car, like my dad would always have Hair Nation on, you know, like hard rock, like, and they would always be playing like Dokken and Kiss and Van Halen, and like whenever I first started playing guitar, I was really into like pop punk, like Green Day and Blink, which I still, you know, I appreciate that music. But as I got older, I appreciated like the 80s like shred more and more, and as I like progressed as a guitarist, like I just was like, I want to play fast. So I started learning how to play Van Halen songs and how to play Dokken. So, I mean, Steve Vai, a big influence of mine. I mean, a lot of people like to compare me to Eddie Van Halen just because I tap. Like, you know, all those other 80s hair metal guys tap too, you know. Like,
Like honestly though, and what about you? Lou? I don't even know if I've ever asked like who's your drumming in. I know like,
dude, this
what's
is going to be one. I know this is.
Yeah.
So I really like Arctic Monkeys. It's a bit known.
the first time I met Lucas, I was like, we were talking about like music, like what we listened to, and he was like, yeah, I just really like the Arctic Monkeys. I was like, okay, cool, man. Like, what else? He's like, nah, I just listen to just the Arctic.
Well, I was in a
I look at my homie's playlist on Spotify, and it really just is all Arctic Monkeys, bro.
Well, I've got one playlist that is just slow Arctic Monkeys songs because I wanted to listen to Arctic Monkeys but also go to sleep. So
Word.
So I just compiled all the slow Arctic Monkeys songs into one.
So what you're saying is Arctic Monkeys put you to sleep.
Well, certain songs, they're just so nice and peaceful, you know.
Yeah.
To be fair though, like I would like pass like on the bus, I would pass like to like junior high and like first years of high school, I'd pass out to like Slipknot in my ears, like at like
man.
like 7 in the morning. I'd just be out on the bus just blasting like Slipknot.
Yeah.
But probably my biggest drum influence, at least right now, is probably Anderson .Paak. I just love the way he plays and how he's able to do everything he does, especially rap and sing and play drums at the same time is just so cool to me. And yeah, I just want to drum fast.
What about you, Patrick? What do you got? Who's your bass
Well,
player
yeah,
inspo?
I don't know that I have any bass inspo because I never touched a bass before.
Yeah.
Before we started playing, before we met. I
He'd
don't
be
know.
like, yeah.
Honestly, oh what?
Like Flea. No, respect to Flea though. He's great. I was like literally sitting here. I was like, who's great bass players? And I just like always thought, Thundercat. Yeah,
Thundercat.
Thundercat's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what I got for you for bass. Honestly,
Just
like,
musical inspirations, I guess. Really, I don't know.
I mean, because I played guitar before bass, I'd say like biggest guitar inspirations probably like Alex Lifeson, and like Jimmy Page. I know Blake is not a fan of those, but that was.
I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna get. Into
Yeah.
So why don't you just tell him your real fun opinion about your favorite music group?
My opinion about.
Oh,
no.
Oh, no.
Dude, so many people. Dude, I will be like,
No?
I will get like tracked down. And, like,
Do it.
dude, like, do you not understand? Like, I will probably get murdered in my sleep. if
We
I-
are in CCM after all.
No, yeah, dude. I know there's I know there's a bunch of them like out here.
Yeah, you got a hit on your back right now.
Dude, I didn't even. I haven't
Blake
even said
doesn't like the
anything.
Beatles. Blake just doesn't
Oh,
like the
and
Beatles.
it's
Blake-
Yeah. All right. The can is open. That
Yep.
means I get to say.
He doesn't
it.
just not like them. He like actively
No, yeah, like,
despises
anytime we've
everything about
ever,
the
like-
Beatles.
I don't
Dude,
even
I just
think-
won't play Beatles covers. Like if you ever try to get me to play Beatles covers, like I will I will not do it. Like I will not play a Beatles cover. I'm so serious. That's all. Because there's just so many Beatles covers all the time. I'm not gonna
How do
say
you
anything
really
more.
feel?
Even during your shows, though, like you'll play like a Metallica song, and you'll be
Oh,
like, "All right, we
yeah.
got a Beatles cover
yeah,
for
we
you
had this
guys."
Funny because
We
I'm
had-
not actually
yeah.
gonna play a Beatles
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah.
We have this like running joke where we're like, anytime we play a cover, it's like, all right, we're gonna play like we played a house show recently, and we were like, all right, we're gonna play "Hey Jude" by the Beatles, and then we just went into like "Seek and Destroy" by Metallica, and it's just goofy, but
Yeah, and the second that you'll say like we're playing a Beatles cover, everybody's like, "Yeah, I can't wait for
I
this,"
love the
and then
Beatles.
Seek and Destroy. Yeah,
Dude, I love Seek and Destroy. It's the
But-
first Metallica song I ever learned.
it's a good one.
You
That
said-
Kill 'Em All is just a great album.
It really is.
Probably my
is.
favorite Metallica album.
would you guys say collectively you kind of have like a band or a group of bands you kind of look to influence the way that you guys write your music?
I mean,
I feel like we just all pull from our own influences, and
Yeah.
somehow it just like meshes together. Like we
Mhm.
don't all have like a collective like one artist that we all like share that we really like. I mean, we obviously have artists that we share that we all like.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Like
what I
Mac
that's what I like love about our sound. Honestly, is that like even from the first practice, we were like you wanted to bring in like Mac DeMarco sounds and like
Yeah,
loving and all that, and
yeah.
then Blake and I were like, no, like Blink 182.
Yeah.
and it somehow works.
Yeah, like I think a lot of my biggest inspos with songwriting. I mean, people are gonna say we sound like kind of like Mac DeMarco in these bands is because like, I mean, for me, I think songwriting wise, I always looked up a lot in terms of like tone and like guitars and stuff. Yeah, I always looked a lot up to like Mac DeMarco and his songwriting. I think, like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could talk about him for a minute, but it's kind of insane to me how he like redefined a whole like genre, and like how I was watching this YouTube video. This guy was talking about like how like he just like he gave the term indie like a sound, and I think that's like a perfect way to describe like kind of his impact on music and everything. But I definitely look a lot up to him. I mean, I'm a bit another big band I really love is like the Smiths and like Johnny Marr. I mean, like that kind of like tone, you know, with like lots of chorus and vibrato and I guess for me, like I just like, I wouldn't say I'm like a tone chaser by any means, but I definitely love to have like certain tones with my guitar and kind of play into that with like vocals and stuff. And then in terms of like singers, I've always looked up to, I think like this is kind of, I know he's a controversial person, but like honestly, I've always looked up to like Morrissey okay, no, but like hear me out. I mean in his singing and his lyrics. All right, never
Yeah.
mind. People are shaking their heads. So
About to get
Just open my
TV art
eyes.
canceled right here.
The opinions of Will Fortune do not reflect the opinions.
Oh no, but yeah, there's a lot of other singers I really look up to, but
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a hard thing not to like get in trouble with a little bit, because like if you
Mhm.
look at like a lot of the older bands like Led Zeppelin, like the stuff that Jimmy Page
Yeah,
did
yeah.
back then was
Right.
not too great. So like it's really hard to separate the art from the artist, but sometimes like you know, you just kind of get trapped into it.
No, for sure, but yeah, that's I feel like an inspiration wise, and yeah, and like I said, so yeah, I mean, like Patrick said, I kind of came in here with like these like indie rock tunes. I was like, yeah, like we should learn these, and then Blake's just like tapping over them, and I think that and it's really unique because how I've kind of come to like pick it out individually is like I think I kind of have like I'm very like I love rhythm guitar, so like for me it's like I love to write these like kind of intricate rhythms and intricate chords. Like I think in pretty much every song of ours, like I'm always using some kind of like, I don't want to say jazz chord, but we don't really ever use like just, you know, major minor chords. It's always something kind of more intricate, which I think kind of gives it a certain like kind of tone and layering, and Lucas always throws on like I think the thing I've come to realize about Lucas's drumming too is that like man never plays like a simple beat. Like I honestly
Okay.
there are almost times that I'm literally just like, Lucas, can you play something more simple? And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, and then you try, and then you just end up going back to whatever you were doing.
Because
That's that Springboro High School
I've
education.
heard I don't know. I just don't like playing simple stuff because it just, I just want to have fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I just have more fun trying to play something difficult and then being able to play something difficult, and then just being able to have that in a song
Mm.
where like you could just play something simple, but since I put something complicated, it's like I don't know, it just feels nicer to play
Yeah.
when it's more rewarding to play, I guess.
Yeah. When you during your live shows, when Lucas, when you're about to do like your solo, do you already have that kind of like pre-worked out, or you just kind of do it on the spot?
So I only ever do like one solo. I know Blake over here, he does like a solo almost every song, so he's got like
I think there's one song he doesn't.
yeah, I think we've
loving
written,
you.
yeah,
he
we've written
doesn't.
one song where
Yeah.
Blake doesn't have a solo,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you know. But for just the one drum solo I have, I have like things I want to hit,
Right.
and then I just kind of get to those. Like I always like bending the pitches of the drums, just like putting my elbow down,
Yeah.
bending that. That's always fun, and then doing the like triplets with just one hand in the kick. That's always a crowd pleaser. It's always fun. And then
Make sure the arm's up in the air.
the good old right left kick is a classic. I've gotten more into like I've just started watching a lot of jazz drummers recently, and like my favorite drummer right now is probably Zach Grooves on YouTube. He's just like, I don't know, he's just insane. I love learning his grooves. They're so complicated, but so like they feel so good to play. And yeah, I just have things that I like playing that I want to hit, and then it's just the transitions to get to that is just whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys currently have 2 songs out on Spotify right now. Do you want to talk a little bit about the process of writing those and recording them?
I mean, I'd say, well, Pants Theme was, that song was actually, I mean, every time we'd play it, I'd always be like, yeah, this song was written by this dude, this beautiful man right next to me. And then Blake would just sit and, like, look out in the crowd and just, like, no expression. but
Because I don't even know what to.
yeah,
I
I mean,
don't
I just like I think it's just important to like, because it really was like I think it's and I've noticed this a lot in our songwriting. It's that like usually sometimes somebody will bring like a piece of something, and then we all kind of are like we just run with it basically. And Pants Theme was Blake wrote that like intro riff, the boo doo 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 doo, you know, and then I was like, okay, well let me throw these chords underneath, and then Patrick was like, well let's do this bit, and then Lucas came up with this like.
I want to talk about the drum part because the drum part actually has a story behind it.
Ooh.
Because me
Exclusive.
and Blake used to be.
Oh,
It wasn't
I
really.
forgot about that.
It wasn't really. It's not. I don't think it ever like. It wasn't anything like major or anything, but it was like a little jam band type thing over the summer with one of our other friends, Tim, who plays drums for another band, and he played bass with us, and we were just playing like we were playing something that was like a triplet groove, and I was like, what can I play that will just mess with their heads? And I just played a quarter note triplet on everything, but it was like just a different part of the triplet, and it was just, and they just like, they couldn't play with me for a little bit, and they just had to like look at me and like figure out what I was doing, but it was so funny. And then whenever he, because the groove originated whenever we were jamming with Tim, and then whenever he played it again, whenever we were all together, I just remembered that, and I was like, oh, it just sounds so good with it.
That's funny. I totally forgot about that. Cause, yeah. So in a way, like it was kind of wasn't really me. It was kind of you. Kind of like probably influenced that then. Cause, yeah. It's like we're changing the song name. It's now Vander theme.
Vander thing.
Vander Theme.
Vander
yeah.
theme.
Vanderpool.
Yeah, but that's why it's called Pants Theme too, because Blake's
Yeah.
like, what your last name's kind of well.
Oh,
Well, that was
I can't give the pants. I'm not giving out the pants lore like
but
willingly right now.
so many of the names like Pants Theme for that first show where we'd only been playing for like 2 or 3 weeks, and we just had to come up with like something to refer to the songs by.
Yeah.
Like we weren't actually naming them. We were just like, all right, it's time to do like this song that sounds like this, and so we just came up with like, oh, this is the Blake song, like Pants Theme.
Because that's what they call me back in
And
high
then
school.
It all
Call me
just
B
it all
pants.
just
B-Pants.
sticks.
B pants, and I still call me, which yeah, it's just a nickname that I have had.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then it was actually funny today. Today I went back and looked at like all my old voice memos, and then I found the original voice memo I made for "Loving You," and like I wrote that, like that intro of like the da na na na. I wrote that over the summer, and what I did was like I don't know how many songs I wrote. I just do this thing where I just like will start a song and like not finish it basically, and I'll just have like but I'll be like, oh, I should put this in my voice memos or like recorder so I remember it. And I went back and looked at it today, and we were just like sitting on my floor in my room and like came up with that. And then basically I just like came to these guys and I was like, all right, well, let's just like jam this out. And then the song was like kind of just 3 chords. And then Blake was like, well, I think it was like the next practice or the one after that. And Blake was like, well, I have this breakdown section. And what if we throw a breakdown? Because there really isn't a chorus for that. Like it's really just a verse breakdown, and then like a solo kind of thing at the end. Like there's no chorus on the song. And so I was like, oh yeah, let's try. And then we threw the breakdown in there. And then that was it. I mean, like, and then that song kind of was made, and that was the end. And that song's really cool too, because I love the, like, I kind of came up with that bass line for it too, and then threw it into Patrick, and Patrick was like, yup, and then he just like learned it, and then it's just such a cool bass line. I was like, well, and then I remember at our first show I was like, Patrick, you gotta have a solo, like we gotta just like isolate that so people can hear that.
I think that was one of the first demos you played for me when we like first met skating. You played that for me. I was like, this is legit, like this is good, and I loved the bass line from it, and that was like, yeah, I want to do something with him. Yeah, I think it was that, and then Not Me was the other demo I sent you, showed you, and that one's fun.
Classic.
I'm pretty sure I have this right, but like I think the first show that I saw of you guys was like your couple shows in. It was just originals that you did, right? Is that what you told me, Lucas?
Which show it?
It was in November, I want to say.
Was it the McMillan show?
I think so.
Because we played Bad Manor the next day. Was it that one? Yeah, that was the first show. We played all originals except for one, and then we were like, oh, probably shouldn't play all originals at a house show. People don't enjoy that as
really
much.
know that, yeah.
But people, well, now that we have songs out on Spotify, it's pretty cool seeing people like actually know the lyrics and stuff.
Yeah.
And like people actually listen to it, which is cool.
People have just been to enough of our shows that even the ones that aren't released, like you see people singing along, and it's it's so
like
cool.
Roses. I remember like, and it just goes.
People go nuts for Roses.
People and
I need to get that. I need to get that.
They know the names. Even like people will tell me like, oh yeah, like my favorite one is like Roses or Blue Baby, and it's like, damn, like we haven't even released those.
Yeah, definitely need. And super stoked. We played a show at this place called Black Plastic Records, and met Steven there. He's a super cool guy. Check out that shop too, because they have a sweet selection, really cool selection, and price wise pretty awesome too. And Steve, and he was just like, yeah, you guys are cool. Like I'd love to get you guys recording. So hopefully we plan to get it. I think ideally we really want to get the album dropped by like maybe beginning of summer, or like kind of end of the semester, beginning of, I mean, we're all obviously really busy with school, and that makes it a little more difficult, but I mean, I think really on it, like, and then I mean the other songs, Pan's Theme and Loving You, and then we recorded like Songbird, and we actually did Roses too, but basically we did that all in Patrick's mom's basement, like his parents' house. It was like what end of was it like winter break?
Yeah, over winter break, like right at the start of the year.
Yeah, and then basically like we were just like, all right, let's try it, and then we just recorded everything. We had 2 mics on the drum set, we had like a mic on the bass, and just one overhead, and
everything else was DI.
Yeah, everything else was like right into my laptop using like the Logic amps, and I mean it was cool though, because I feel like it really, like, I mean, I will always remember that experience. Well, also we got COVID from it.
Yeah, recording was so good it gave us all COVID.
Yeah, we actually
that was rough. Who
was patient zero?
It was Lucas. Lucas is the first one to get it.
Boy.
We were all in my parents' bedroom or
parents' basement. Hey, yo,
PG Patrick.
We were all in my parents' basement for like 4 days straight. Like I think the 3 of us only left to like go to CC's for dinner once. And so we were all just like locked in there for like 4 straight days. We all had COVID, and we were just grinding, recording nonstop, and it was awful. It was like we were all so dead. And then we finished that week out playing like 3 shows back to back to back, right?
We played 2. We played
two.
Yeah, because that's when we
Motor
played
and Northside.
Motor and Northside, yeah.
And we were all just dead.
Yeah, because I thought you guys just like had a little. Because I remember when we picked Lucas up for the Northside show, he was not feeling it. He was like, guys, I'm not good. And we were like, well, I'm sorry, man. We got to play Motor tonight. I think we know it was Northside. I don't remember which one.
It was probably both.
And then I think, like I ended up getting it like after the shows later on. But yeah, and then, we were performing sick, which was. but they were still good shows, and that was really cool. So
To be clear, we didn't know we had COVID at that
oh
point.
yeah, I was just walking
We-
around like,
yeah,
hey, what's up, dude?
We tested positive after the shows.
Oh my
Let me just give you a quick breathe on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, dude. Like, yeah, that's goofy.
Do you guys have like a favorite show you've had so far, or they all been kind
I
of?
do.
Oh,
My favorite one was definitely Mockbee this past weekend.
Really?
That was
Huh.
definitely that one because every time
That
we
was a good
played
show.
Mockbee, we just haven't had that big of a crowd. But we had, I know we did the math on like the ticket sales and everything. There was at least 150 people there,
wow.
and we got Will crowd surfing. We got
Mm.
some of our friends from Befriend Strange Creatures.
People were
Shout out,
moshing to
they
Pants
were-
theme.
Yeah, they were moshing to Pants theme. We had those
Yeah.
guys crowd surfing too. Will gave the mic to some random dude who just started screaming
Dude,
the lyrics.
okay,
to Seek and
I gotta
Destroy.
explain.
That was awesome.
I gotta explain this
Let's hear
dude.
it, please.
There's this dude. Yeah, well, yeah, no, that was also really cool because there were a lot of like Befriend Strange Creatures. Shout out those guys from Columbus. They like had like 12 dudes. Like they brought a whole
Dude, they
squad
brought
with
a
them.
s-
They brought a whole
stack.
squad, and then before the show, Benjamin comes up to me. He's like, man, you trying to crowd surf tonight? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, cool. We got like 12 bodies deep in here. We'll definitely get you up there. And I was like, okay. And then it was so fun.
Dude,
man.
I just
that,
remember.
that show was so much fun.
Yeah, I just remember I was playing. I was looking down playing, and then I just look up and your feet are like right there. I was like, "That's Will."
Yeah, and shout out Gabe Scott for putting me on his shoulder after the show, and like Gabe put me on his shoulders and then just like carried me around, like giving people high fives and stuff. That show was it had a great energy. It was a
I've
lot
got,
of
like-
fun.
I got the top 3 shows I'd say was definitely Bad Manner.
Yep.
Bad Manner was like the
Yeah.
first one that like I thought I was like, wow, like that one was good. Like I just remember I was like, that one was good. And then like obviously like dude, Lauren got like the sickest clips at that one.
But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huge
shout out Lauren
Huge
Del.
shout out
Lauren
Lauren
Delgatti.
Okay, let's not say it all at the same time.
Oh.
Shout out Lauren Delligatti for always taking photos and videos and
Yes,
being
dude.
awesome.
Mm.
But
And shout out all the other like people who always
Mm.
like. There are also a lot of other
Here's
people.
Lauren.
There's a lot of people in the scene who just come out and like take photos and like I mean obviously it's really awesome. There's been a lot of people who have been getting into like band photography, and I know Zach, you obviously you're in the
Huge
game and
shout out.
you're in the game and I think it's really cool and it's something I've always really appreciated because it's like I mean it's we don't ask them to come out and do that and,
Yeah.
but it's such a help to the
Very
bands to
kind.
have
Mhm.
photos to use. I mean that's like your social media plays such a big part in like how you advertise and like it's all marketing and so having those photos and stuff and I love too to like always make sure to tag artists or photographers, make sure to always give them credit for anything because I mean it really helps get their name out there and helps get their
Mhm.
work out there too. So but also not to like change complete subject, but at that show we were playing Seek and Destroy and this dude was at the front of the stage, like very front. He was just punching the stage
Yeah.
and dude had long hair, like he was fully
He
like
was
you can tell
feeling
this
it.
dude
I
had
just
listened to Kill
remember-
'Em All probably like 100 times. Like he was loving
They
it.
had the red lights on.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
They had
yeah.
the red light. They,
And,
like,
and I'm like, all right, this guy just needs the mic for real. Like he's gonna sing a chorus, and so I just like I tap him on the head because he's like still like face down, like punching the stage, and I give him the mic. I'm like, and he looks at me, I don't even have to say anything, and he just like he steps back and he just goes and he just shouts at the top of his like this dude
Yeah.
probably like blew the P, like he was like literally screaming, and it was awesome. Like I always love like, and I think that's so much fun, like crowd involvement when you just like
oh yeah.
hand them the mic. I'm like, dude, it's your stage for like a bit for real. And it's just so much fun.
There was a PA that I could actually hear the lyrics because like I've never
You could
heard
just,
the
like, hear
lyrics
my
at
sing-
like
yeah.
any show before that.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
because with
So,
house shows, you're just running
I
with
always
these,
just
like,
go off of like
PAs.
whatever the guitar part or the bass part is, but I could actually hear it and I was like, oh, he's actually got lyrics for this, and then I just started laughing during Heavy Song because
You can hear what
I could actually hear what he was saying. I just started laughing. I was just
Yeah.
like, bop, 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 bop.
Lucas, this is a funny story. I love when I found out that you thought in Roses we were saying it like the kind of like the breakdown part before the chorus that you thought we were saying it's frozen.
Because that's what it sounds like for
and
me. When I
we've
can't hear
we've
it.
got that video from the private show on our YouTube, and I love watching that thing, like knowing that you're singing along, and you can see you saying like it's froze.
Well,
It's so goofy.
I don't know, man.
Lucas, you're a silly little boy.
I'm just a silly little goofy guy.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Do you guys prefer to play like right now? Do you prefer to play at a house show or a venue place?
Venues?
That's actually
Venues?
This is a great.
That was a
This is
quick response.
a great point of conversation.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. I mean, you guys can chime in.
well, all right. To be fair, I love house shows. I love the
Yes.
energy. Like,
Yeah.
I love. I mean, that's when I like got here on campus this year and was like trying to find people to play with. I was like, I want to do house shows. Like, that's the energy I want. But we've just done so many now, and like having somewhere to like put your gear, and like having a real sound engineer and like a real PA system, and not having to like pack everything or like bring everything and pack everything up. It's just so much nicer playing
Yeah.
real
mean,
venues.
House shows I feel like are a very definitive part in the Clifton scene in general. Like, I met a lot of cool people. Large part of my friend group that I've made here in Cincinnati since I've moved here is largely due to the house show scene and like the music scene in general, which I mean house shows, they are fun at first, but like after a while they can get just a bit draining. So I mean, we're definitely not like done like period with house shows, but just like for a while we're gonna kind of limit like our house show.
I still love house shows.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I
like,
think
they're fun. Like,
There's
they're
kind of like it's when we first got into it. I mean, we have to kind of pay tribute to that because I mean, obviously you all have to start somewhere, and that was really all we did for a lot of the first bit was just only doing house shows, and I think the thing about this that's been really cool in the scene here is that I don't think we've actually booked something ourselves once in our whole career as a band. It's all been like people these DM us or people venues or bands are like, hey, we like have heard about you, we just want to get you on this bill, and that's been super nice and the house show stuff is really awesome and you meet a lot of cool people and everything but I think for now it's just that we have all this. We really want to start taking this to like, I mean, if we can like do something with the band, we want to, and I think that they're playing some actual venues would just be really nice and just provide like I guess more of it's a different crowd when you play too, because when you play house shows, I mean a lot of it there are new people, but there's also a lot of the same people too, but when you play venues, I mean you're playing to like completely different crowds. I mean you're like more adults, not college students. I mean you're playing to like different crowds, which is really cool and can give you a lot of different exposure. And I think also too like I mean recently the house show stuff has been really interesting in the past couple months. I mean, we're just coming out of a winter season too, so like a lot of it is just probably going to start back up. But there was also a lot of these like it's really just all these college students who just turn their houses into like either DIY spots or they just throw a show, and that's something that I think is really cool. But the downside of that is that when you make these things like public and you're just giving out your address to people, that some really like shady things can kind of happen. And like there was one show we played where people got like stuff stolen. I mean there was like stuff just vandalized and stolen, and these people just don't want to throw these shows anymore. They're like, well, I mean within like for fair reason, and I think that and like it's actually kind of the house shows we've been playing recently have been kind of like have been private, or like it's like not private, but it's like the band will invite you, or like you have to give out the address. It's a kind of word of mouth kind of thing, and it's just it sucks it has to be that way, but it really is just like for the protection of these people who are basically volunteering their property for these shows and stuff. So I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like we've talked about it too. Once it gets nice out in the summertime and it's warm out, when you do outdoor shows, especially like outdoor house shows, there's a lot of less of a risk for like.
It's so much.
Absolutely.
Nicer.
It's so much nicer because I think
Yeah.
when a house is involved and there's a house like in the what am I saying? When there's a house involved, it's people kind of can view it sometimes more of like a house party than a house show or like a show,
Yeah.
and that can be.
Yeah, they can just like. They can just like use it as a way to just be somewhere doing something that they just don't want other people to see, but they're just like using the house show as like a cover.
Yeah.
You guys are all familiar with White Lighter's old house, right? Where they would throw shows.
I just
familiar
moved
at
here,
all.
so no.
Well, they had this place where they had a pretty decent backyard with a porch, but they would also throw shows in the basement, and that had a like toilet in the basement. Wasn't functional. And
I've been
yeah,
at that. Wait, is that where's that? What's the address? What was the?
I
Don't
can't.
say-
Yeah,
don't say
yeah,
the
let's
address.
not do the address.
Oh, wait,
They don't live there anymore anyway.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But-
Without that being said, yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there. I wasn't
Yeah.
it called the Pit?
No,
No,
that's a
no,
different
no,
place.
no.
A
Yeah.
different. Okay,
But,
wait. But no. I've
yeah.
definitely been there.
Yeah,
Like, there's no way I haven't.
He dropped
But-
the dropped the Addy on
Yeah.
live.
Dropped the idea.
but somebody, and like to go on the destruction of the people's places, like somebody took a dump in the toilet
Oh, nah,
during one of the
bro.
bands playing.
Nah, bro, that's
And
foul.
the White Lighter guys were upstairs, and a couple
Oh.
people come up and be like, "Hey, it smells like shit downstairs." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" So they go, and they find just this giant turd in the toilet.
Oh, no.
Oh.
And like,
Someone
Yeah.
got canes, bro.
and at that same day, that same show, somebody was up in their kitchen going through their cabinet, and Ethan, the guitarist from White Lighter, was walking around, and he saw this guy. He had Ethan's peanut butter in his hand, and he opened it, smelled it, and put it back in the cabinet. And Ethan was just like, "That you can have that. That's yours."
yeah, that's just.
I mean, that's awful.
that's,
And-
Yeah.
I mean, that's prime example, right?
Exactly.
Well,
yeah.
and like a month ago, where White Lighter was trying to play at the Crypt, and
Yeah.
they didn't end up playing because the pipe burst
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
flooded the whole place.
Because people were just like, my understanding, Ellie kind of said like, shout out Ellie in the Crypt.
Yeah.
we
she,
love
like,
you, Ellie.
She said someone was like I think she said basically people were just like, it was so crowded, people were just like grabbing on the like pipes
Yeah.
and stuff, and then someone just like must have got yanked it or something and then just ripped it off.
Yeah,
and,
I mean those
Yeah.
pipes are like 80 years old.
I mean, yeah,
so-
Clifton House.
Clifton
yeah.
basements
the
in
good old
general.
Clifton
Yeah.
houses.
Gotta love it.
But
Yeah. Okay.
We got a while.
Do you guys have a favorite cover or couple covers that you guys play during your shows?
I will say right now,
Yep.
Seek and Destroy is my favorite cover to
Ooh.
play.
yeah, that one's pretty
That
fun.
is also my favorite at the
think-
moment.
Oh, my favorite's for sure Smoko.
Smoke, really?
Smoke.
I agree with you, Patrick. I love when you guys do that.
I love that we do it. Like,
Yeah.
I was so happy when we said we were gonna do that, and then I love every time we play it because the people who know it are
Yeah.
like really into it and love
Mhm.
hearing it. So you always get a few people going really hard.
I'd say my favorite's gonna have it's just Take 5.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that's
Alright,
like
yeah.
it's
yeah.
almost it's kind of funny because I guess like Take 5's like a jazz standard and I'm not I mean obviously I didn't write it so it is technically kind of a cover but that one is so much fun to play and that one's like people I mean there's always like that one was like it kind of like I mean when you play these covers like people can kind of like recognize them or stuff and they ask for them and Take 5 is definitely one of those ones I remember people are always like yo do that one jazz one or
Yeah,
like
a
that
lot
one
of people
jazz
like- a
and
lot
I'm
of
like
people
and
like
it's
Take
always funny because
5.
then I'm like yeah this is jazz and then we go in and it's like this like we basically like we just turn it into like an indie rock tune and like
We
throw
kinda- it gets
distortion
fa-
and
it gets,
Yeah.
it gets
Yeah.
fast.
um
Dude, that was the first time when I was learning that because
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
no.
that was such a trial.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have no jazz background, but like I was trying to learn the.
Yeah.
Dude, that you guys got to see like me frustrated, which that doesn't happen a lot.
I
but-
remember literally telling Zeke, I was like, this is the first time I've ever seen Blake like struggle playing guitar, like not be able to just like shred.
I mean, yeah, because I have no jazz background, so like that was like the whole different ballpark for me. So, but I mean, now that I got it, now that I've got it down, now it's definitely really
Do
fun
we
to play.
do we have it down?
No.
Okay,
yeah. Never mind.
we need to work
This
on
is-
we need to practice that work on
Yeah.
our transitions.
Even when we were learning it, like I was in like drum tech mode, just like clicking the sticks for everybody. Cause like my part's pretty easy.
Mhm.
Like I've played stuff like that before, but like in high school. But I was just sitting there clicking the sticks, clicking the cowbell, like being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1,
Yeah.
just like
Yep,
helping
yep.
everybody else out.
keep in time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for a very small amount of time, our favorite cover was Psycho Killer when we played that.
Oh,
at-
that was a
I got
really big
we
one.
played that at
Yeah.
like when we first started at a few shows, and then we liked it because everyone loved it, and then we were like, this is all anyone wants to hear,
Yeah.
and we've played it too much, and
The
now we
entire
all
set,
hate it.
people are
we
just
all
yelling,
hate
"Psycho
it.
Killer,
Yeah.
Psycho Killer."
Yeah,
Oh my
actually, like
gosh.
this last weekend, we were like, so they were like, we encored like 2 times, and they were like, they're like, play Psycho Killer, please, 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 and we're all like, at
We're
this
like,
point,
no.
I'm like,
I
I am like literally like, I just want to go home, and then I just turned to the band, I was like, all right, we'll give them Psycho Killer, but then like I was like, but let's just like make it like hardcore, and then like so we did that,
Shout out
and
Gary.
yeah,
Happy birthday,
yeah,
Gary.
happy birthday, recently turned 23. I was just like, let's just like do it. But like people still were like singing the words, and it was grand. But yeah, no, and that's one thing too, is it's like compared to originals, sometimes covers can just be like, you can get real tired of them real fast. I remember like The Stars Keep on Calling My Name by DeMarco
forgot we played that.
That was a long time
was
ago.
like one, and I remember like Blake was just like, I was like, hey guys, we throwing this one in the set? Blake's like, no. and then also like Harvey Marcel by Hers. We covered that one for a bit, and that one kind of, and then it's kind of funny though, because when we do these like private shows, or there's like, we did a private show at Gabe's house, and it was like just us playing. So we literally had like a intermission, and so we just played everything we knew, and so that was kind of cool to like bring everything back and do it all. But yeah.
It is funny. I mean, now that like our set is basically all originals, you don't get tired of those. I mean, like we've played Songbird a million times, and I still love playing it.
Yeah,
whereas
every
like
time.
Psycho Killer, we played 5 times, and we're like, nope.
It's much more
No.
rewarding to play.
Oh,
than,
yeah.
like, the originals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out, and we also have some new stuff coming up here too, which I'm really stoked about. And like I said, we have the hardcore set that we kind of want to start working on, but in the process of adding like 1 or 2 new songs. I mean, it's just kind of like, we always are just like trying to add new material and stuff.
Yeah.
And especially if you're playing like, back-to-back
Every
shows, you
weekend.
really, and it's not for even for the crowd, but just for the artists too. It's like, it's fun to like mix it up and always like change it up a little bit.
How many originals do you guys typically play during your set?
It's like at least like 85. It's like 90% of our set. So I'd say like
8.
Yeah, I'd say it's like
yeah.
usually we
Counting
usually
right
throw
now.
in like 2 covers.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
usually like almost like 90-95% originals. I'd say like 6 or 7 or maybe 8.
6 or 7.
Usually 8. Usually about
Right.
8.
It's about 8, yeah.
Yeah, 8 or
Why
9.
can I not think of it now?
All I know is we can play like a solid 40-45 of just originals. So I know that much. That's all I know. But yeah.
What are some groups that you guys will go out of your way to go see in Cincinnati?
Arlen Gun Club.
Yeah.
Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
If they ever come. I am seeing them in August, though.
I'm trying to think what bands do I really love here in Cincinnati. I mean, there's a lot of really good bands.
I love Arlen Gun Club.
Yeah.
Like I saw them at their like last house show. And it's been hard to catch them when they come back around here. But like I love Arlen Gun Club. Like they like are right up like my alley of stuff that the kind of stuff that I like. Kind of got the like I actually listened to a podcast with Arlen Gun Club, and they don't describe themselves as punk really, but to me they kind of sound a little bit punk, so that's kind of like my vibe, the vibe I like.
Yeah, I think my probably recently I just went to shout out Nate and Chauncey, but I just went to Motors. They had like an album release show, and
Community
I went there.
chest, now
And
streaming.
yeah, and yeah, check out Chauncey's definitely one of my. I mean, obviously I love Nate and all the homies in there, but yeah, Chauncey's definitely probably one of my personal favorites, and just the punk sound there. There's a lot of really cool bands though. I know I saw Devil's Cross Country at that show too. They were awesome. Who else? I mean, I'm trying to
I'm not
think.
gonna lie, I think I misunderstood the question. Did you say local bands?
Yeah, it's Cincinnati
That'll
bands.
do it.
All you can think about is Arctic Monkeys.
It's the only thing on my mind. No, well, they're not from Cincinnati, but I like Bomb Bunny, and I like
Yeah.
Befriend Strange Creatures. I love their music.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Both
I
of those
listen
for
to that all
sure.
the time.
Yeah.
I also like Goof Juice's music.
Yeah,
I like
Goof
Goof
Juice.
Juice.
I think
Mhm.
a new one for me is Hydrone. I saw them like 2 weeks ago, and I hadn't seen them before, and I would definitely seek them out
Yeah.
now if they're playing
They're
around
from
here.
yeah, they're from Columbus. They're really cool.
They're
Also,
really good.
and they were also at the motor show, and I think is it Louis or is it Lewis or no? Is it just-
Louis, yeah.
It's just Louis. They were
Yeah.
really cool. They had a really cool hardcore, and I know there's Way Down in Cincinnati. I met Carter skating one day, and he plays guitar in that band, and they rip for sure.
Spoils.
Spoils is really
Spoils,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like Spoils a lot. Which actually, there's a bit of a crossover between Arlen Gun Club and Spoils. A little bit of lore.
Yeah. I mean, shout out there's there's so many like Dead Humor, Co
Yeah.
etc. I mean there's always there's so many bands,
It's
and
such a good
Yeah.
scene.
yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of talent.
There's a lot of talent here.
Yeah.
for
What would you
sure.
guys say from like initially starting your band to like where it is now? Like, where have you seen the scene go? Like, would you say it's been pretty crazy to witness it grow, or do you think it's been kind of like, oh, we just kind of got into this thing and it's already like really big? It's, pretty interesting.
I mean, when I got here, like I had like my ideology has definitely changed a lot on the scene, or my opinion on the scene has shifted a lot. Like since from going from being just like in the crowd, because last year, I mean, I went to like house shows every weekend. I was following, like Tasteful Around and all those guys, like, and just being in the scene as an observer. Like I was like, oh, this is sick. I want, like, this seems like really, like, it's been going on for a while. It seems really established and stuff like that. And then then now playing it and being like starting to play with all these bands, and like there's kind of a new kind of the next wave of like artists kind of coming up, like us and some of the other bands, the younger bands coming in. I don't know. It seems like a lot. I don't know how to. It's definitely, I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But it's not what it's definitely not what I thought it was when I first was like getting into it. Like I was like, oh, this like is I don't know how to describe it.
Did it like take like the romanticization off of it? Like it took all the like glitter and glam off of it for you?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably what it was. Like now that I'm playing, I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
Awesome. I think I guess my point on it is I think I do I mean I think we're all kind of aware of the fact that we're a new band. I mean we just started last semester. Hasn't even been a year of us being together, and it's already taken off really well. And I think that when people ask, like, well, why, what is that? I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say like I think sometimes in life things definitely happen for a reason, and I think that there are like there's kind of just like moments that just you're like, okay, cool, like I mean I don't know. It's just
I found the words for what I was gonna say. I feel like the scene has slowed down. I feel like the scene has slowed down since I first got into it. Like, a lot of the bands that I, like, came here watching don't really play around here that much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of left up to, like, those who are kind of not really, like, left behind, but also just, like, the new upcoming scene. So, and I don't really, like, there's, like, I don't think I think the quantity of bands has definitely gone down just kind of a little bit.
I don't know about the quantity.
I wouldn't say about the quantity,
yeah.
but I definitely just think, like, somehow the scene has like slowed down.
I think
like
it's you can go ahead, Patrick.
Oh, I don't know if this is right, but I feel like the bands that you probably like were following a lot last year have slowed down, but I don't think the scene as a whole has. I think there's like a new generation now, and if anything, I feel like house shows are more popular among more people.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because like a lot of people don't really want to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this bar that I'm underage for and I can't get into, or like pay a $5 entrance fee or whatever. But like, as far as the scene slowing down, I don't know about that. I think it's more like it's been expanded. Like there's a lot of different variety in the groups around now, especially because like I'm old. I've been around for a little bit. I've been taking photos for a while. And from when I started, it definitely seems like there's a lot more variety in the groups, at least from what I can tell. But it's been pretty interesting to see. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the one thing that helped us a lot the reason that, like, I guess if I was gonna like say, not like give advice to younger bands, or like just from what we've experienced,
like we've been in this.
No,
we're veterans.
Dude,
listen here.
I'm just saying. I'm just gonna say that. I just want to say this. I think what helps, and this is just kind of common sense. I think what helps a lot when you're just starting out is to just have original music. I think if you wanna see some more success with your music, and if you wanna see something, you just gotta have original music, and I think that covers are always fun to play for like house shows and for shows. I mean, people want to hear songs, but I think in terms of like the culture and
and the love for music here in Cincinnati. I think when you have original music, people just love that. I mean, people just eat that up. It's it really. I think it. You know,
We all want to support each other. You
Yeah.
know? We're
Yeah.
all homies
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
We all support each other here in the scene.
And I'll pay you guys a couple compliments here real quick, because I think you guys have probably had like the most success out of a lot of people that I've seen, like from when you started to where you are now, like, and your dedication too. You're playing like 3 shows this upcoming weekend. Like, I've seen you guys play 1, 2, 3 shows a week for like pretty consistently for about, I don't know, since November, October. It's been pretty gnarly to see you guys grow. It's awesome.
Took like a little break for Christmas.
Yeah.
and, like,
For the holidays.
Yeah, for the holidays. Took
Yeah.
a little step back in January, but we're back now. So
Back
I,
now,
uh,
baby.
I do think it worked out really well with the 4 of
Yeah.
us, because we all, I mean, we didn't know each other beforehand, but we all just met each other, and we're all on like the exact same page of like, we want to play music, and like
Yeah.
Yeah.
we want to do live stuff, and so we've all been grinding because
Yeah, no,
that's what we all are like committed to doing,
Yeah, you gotta put in that elbow grease for sure.
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we gonna say, Lucas.
I was gonna say another big thing just about us was that I like that we're able to like not sugarcoat stuff to each other. Like I know, at least me, I say my opinion to
Yeah.
everybody.
Mhm.
a
I mean,
lot.
yeah, there's definitely been times I brought demos to the boys. I'm like, check this out, and they're like, man, what is this shit?
Yeah, I remember one time recently, Will's been getting into egg punk, and he
Yeah.
brought us an egg punk demo, and I was like, not gonna lie, Will, this is some Scooby Doo type beat. And while it's just not TV Art's thing,
Yeah.
it's not bad by any means.
No,
it's just
yeah.
not our thing, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's also something too. And it's always cool when we were playing a lot of these shows with guys who have been in it for a minute. I remember the guys from Heist. I remember those dudes like when we played Mock B. We're just like, I mean, that was like maybe what our first or second time playing Mock B, and we were like, I feel like we were babies. It's like funny to even
Yeah.
see pictures of us from back then when I still had my
It was
mullet
like-
and Patrick
it
had
was
like a buzz
3
cut.
months ago. It was like 4 months ago.
Yeah, right. But
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you can tell the growth of TV art by Patrick's hair.
yeah, no, actually though, but
No, you actually can. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
but
tell by my hair because I got a buzz cut at the very beginning.
Oh
Yeah,
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 yeah.
Now we're out a little longer.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
right.
think Lucas. I don't think you or I have cut our hair since
Nope,
since our
probably
first
not.
show.
Mm-hmm.
I think I cut mine like right before our first show, and you too. Yeah.
But I think it's just really important too to get into a band with people who have similar. I mean, I'm just fortunate for these guys and that it's worked out how it has, and all the amazing people that we've met through it. But I think it's I mean, just to have a clear line of communication and just to be like, you know, to be honest, because I mean, you guys, man, we're playing shows and you can get so tired and get so drained, and then it can be so easy just to like not snap, but just to have an attitude or to, and it's just you just got to be patient with each other. I mean, it's just basic stuff, but when you're in a band and doing stuff, when you're just like it's like a little family. I mean, and like with Lauren involved and all the like everybody, and it's just like we're all just like this little family, and when we all just like. I mean, we're just doing this stuff. We're hanging like this weekend. I'm gonna be with these guys 3 nights in a row this weekend, playing shows and stuff. And you think about that and get into this with some people you like. That's what I'll say.
I think about this all the time. How like insanely like lucky we got that for being like total strangers that like didn't know each other and we didn't know if we would get along. Like we all love each other so much, and like it has worked really well, and it really like. Is insane that we don't like hate each other with how much time we spend together.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Here's a little fun question for you. If you had to pick one decade of music to listen to, and you only get to listen to that decade, what are you going to listen to?
Man, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I really love that you just facepalmed Blake.
Bro, okay. Actually, because I listen to like so much. Like
so indie,
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just have such like phases, man.
yeah,
don't
like
even
I
know.
listen to like the like as far back as like the blues from like the 50s and 40s,
Yeah.
and then like you've got like actually I don't really listen.
Honestly,
to that.
I'd say my answer would probably just be like, I don't know, like 40s, 50s, and I'm just listening to Marty Robbins' Gunslinger ballads on repeat. I'm just listening to Big Iron like on repeat and IBI.
Dude, I don't know, because I listen to like stuff from like everyone. Because then you've got like I listen to a lot of like the Grateful Dead from like the 70s, like the 70 like Europe 72 and like and then And then obviously the 80s have like a huge influence on me.
You gotta pick one, Blake.
I know.
Can't just sit here and talk about every genre, every era.
And then the 90s we got the punk.
Let me just
In the
explain
2000s we got
music
post-punk.
history.
In the 2000s we got post-punk and hardcore.
Music 101 with Blake Payne.
Dude, I would have to just say like, I don't know. I don't.
We can come back to you.
No, I could probably go like, dude. The easiest one would probably be like the early to mid 2000s, like the 2000s, because like I can get everything, like all the genres that I like in that range. I feel like because like at that point, like you just have everything like kind of at your disposal.
Yeah. I can't lie. I thought you would have said the 80s.
I'm not gonna say the 80s because to be honest, like there is times where I'm like, man, I can't listen to hair metal today. like I really don't listen to hair metal that much.
Yeah.
Like as much as like it is seen in my playing, I really don't listen to like hair metal like that much. I mean, I do listen to it a fair amount, but I listen to like probably like other stuff more.
Yeah. What about you guys, Patrick and Lucas?
I mean,
Arctic
might rag on me,
Monkeys.
but most of the music I listen to is probably from the 2010s. Like, if you couldn't tell, I'm a big Arctic Monkeys fan.
Oh my gosh.
Here we
And to Will's dismay, I'm a big Weeknd fan. Love me some good Weeknd.
Yeah, no, I'm not a Weekend. I mean, okay, all right. I can't
go. That's
get.
a hot take, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like I don't really listen to them.
I like all the
honestly.
eras. I like the hot and heavy eras. I like
Yeah.
the like literally just dying era from After Hours. Or I guess that's 2020, so I guess I can't listen to that anymore.
Yeah,
And
that's
I love,
your cut off, dude. Cut off.
Sorry. And I can't listen to the new album from what was it, 2022? Dawn FM.
Although I think if I had to listen to like one band, I know I already gave my answer, but I think if I had to listen to one band for the rest of my life,
Oh, yeah.
it would be Ween for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Dude, I love
This
Ween.
guy.
Like, dude, every album is so different. It's like, like Ween. Like honestly, like that early
Yeah.
90s when music. Yeah, there was a lot of really like
Ween
I
or
mean,
Primus?
Ween for sure.
Yeah.
Ween for sure. Ween all the way, man.
Patrick, what about you? What are you thinking?
I don't know. This is like actually a really hard question.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I think I'd go 2010s just because like recency bias. Like
Yeah.
most stuff I listen to is stuff that came out while I was like alive, and but I maybe 80s too though, because like
Yeah.
I do get enough like selection in 80s of like prog rock and like heavy rock and early punk and 80s pop, like so maybe I don't know.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what about Charlie? What about
Oh,
Hyperpop?
okay, all right, 2010s.
Yeah, what about
I,
Drake?
yeah,
What
no,
about-
I can't
Lauren was
leave
really excited
Lord
about that
or
one.
Charlie.
Me and
or,
Patrick are big Charlie XCX
Yeah.
fans.
No, all right, 2010.
We love that. We love 100 Gex. We love all that stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know if I could go a day without Yeet though, honestly. Whatever era Yeet is in, I'm listening to that.
All right, Blake, what is it going to take for you to do a Beatles cover?
Is this like your last question?
No, I got one more after this.
What is it gonna take for me to do a Beatles cover?
Yeah.
Guinness.
Get this man a frosted glass.
His bar
Frosted
tab for the
glass and a
night.
Guinness.
Yeah.
That's enticing. Dude, you'd have to be like,
You have to be off his keister.
Yeah.
like, off my keister, dude. Bruh. I don't know. Either like a large sum of money, like
How much?
I don't know.
Like 3 Chipotle
I've got
burritos.
$5 in my
Yeah.
pocket right now.
2 doubloons.
2 doubloons.
Like for a Charvel endorsementship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Charvel, if you're
Only to
listening,
play
we need
only
that.
to play one Beatles song.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll
Yeah.
play, but honestly, for me, just play one Beatles song. It's just, I don't know, like, it would at least, like, me personally, it'd have to be like at
See,
least
but if we were to cover the Beatles, I'd want to do like "I Am the Walrus" or like something like
That would be interesting.
Yellow Submarine
or like
Yeah.
Octopus
I-
Garden.
I
Like
do- yeah.
Dude, that'd
Yeah.
be so funny.
Do a
I
Ringo
don't
song.
listen. I don't listen to Beatles. I swear.
Yeah.
Wait, does George like Harrison count as like the Beatles?
I guess like their
D-
solo
what?
career, like
no,
the solo,
like,
like
no,
solo
his solo stuff.
career.
His solo stuff.
Oh, his solo stuff?
I feel like nah.
Nah, I mean, not
it's gotta
really.
be. It's gotta be.
I
a
like
Beatles,
I like
yeah.
George's
My
solo
Sweet-
stuff
'cause I like
is
My
definitely
Sweet
the best.
Lord. Like I like
Yeah.
that song.
That
like,
song's good.
like I will go on document and say that. I mean, even though it's not like
Yeah.
actually like the Beatles, it's just him.
Nah, I gotta listen to Ringo Starr stuff.
Yeah.
What about Photograph by Ringo, dude? Best
Oh,
song
man.
ever.
I don't listen.
Please, no fan mail. No more fan mail.
Jeez.
All right. Well, that was it. Let everybody know where you can have your music found and say your piece. Tell everybody your things.
Yeah, I mean, TV art. I mean, you can find us on Instagram at Television Arts. That is like the thing, or just look up TV art on Instagram. Or we are on Spotify, TV art, on Apple Music, on Bandcamp. I mean, all of it, really.
That is and to
Amazon
clarify-
Music.
Amazon, yeah, Twitch,
Yeah.
Twitch Music or
Twitch,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
To clarify, that is TVART.
Yeah.
You can also add me on Xbox. My gamer tag is Camo Raptor 101.
Add me on Last FM for real.
Yeah, you can catch me B space pants number 5933 on Xbox.
Perfect.
You can catch me Big Appa with some numbers behind my name. I don't remember them. But on Xbox, Lucas with a life on Instagram.
Yeah, we can run up some Valorant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Valorant. we can play Bloons Tower Defense 6. I'll play that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Television
much, Zach.
Arts.
Thank
This
you,
has been
thank
great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you all.